Okay, so we have another RC review and first impressions video. Today, we have the Traxxas Rustler 4x4 Ultimate. As you may have seen before, I did a review of the regular Rustler 4x4 VXL, but this time, we have the Ultimate Edition. So, without further ado, let's start, shall we? So first up, let's go over the transmitter here. So, as you can see, it's just the Traxxas TQI, but it comes pre-installed with the Traxxas Link Bluetooth receiver that you can connect to your phone and use with the Traxxas app. You can download on iPhone or Android, so that's pretty cool. Moving over to the car itself, we have this absolutely, well, I guess you can say was, gorgeous green body here. I mean, it still is good, it's just covered in dust now, but overall the body is really nice in my opinion. If we look over here, we can see the blue. It comes in two colors. You can get it in this kind of blue, or in this case the green. Either one would be good, but I personally like both of them about the same. Speaking of body, we also have the clipless body mount system you find in pretty much any Traxxas car these days. Moving on to the inside, we have all of the ultimate upgrades. We have a lot of aluminum, or for the British, aluminium, because that's how weird people say it, I guess. British people. Anyways. Anyways. You got the green aluminum shocks here. The aluminum hub carriers. You get a metal geared servo instead of the standard plastic one. You get a metal, well, aluminum chassis brace. You get a bunch of the Traxxas sensors and fancy stuff, basically, which I'll go over in a minute. And that's kind of it for actual physical upgrades. It's not a whole lot different in terms of that, you know, upgrades and stuff from the factory, but it is definitely better than the stock Rustler. These shocks are definitely a lot nicer, that is for sure. They are a lot smoother. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is very smooth. They are adjustable. You can adjust the height of them if you want. Yeah, then they're just better than the plastic ones. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to here, you can see all the telemetry, whatever it is, the sensors and crap, basically. So basically, this car comes with all of the sensors that you can buy separately for any other RC car. These come pre-installed. Motor temperature, RPM, GPS, you know, for speed, battery voltage. As you can see, this third tiny wire coming up on the positive side that connects into there, into there. So then that gives you battery voltage. You can also put a fan on here if you want for the speed controller. You can put a heatsink and fan on the motor if you want, but that would require some adjusting and movement of the motor sensor, motor temperature sensor, because that, as you can see, is right on the motor there. There you go, you can kind of see it there. This is just your regular VXL 3S system, so nothing really different there. Kind of just, you know, basic. Just get that stool out of my way. Come around to the back, you can see we also have those same really nice metal shocks on the back. Well, aluminum. Then you have the same thing, the green aluminum hub carriers back here. That's about it for here. Let's move over to let's talk a little bit more about this remote. So, as you can see, as you know, I already went over this a few minutes ago, but I forgot to mention, there's actually two versions of this remote. There's this one, and then there's another version where you have an additional switch up here and switch down here. Those are mainly for the TRX4 because you have front, I think it does actually all, I don't know, you got low range, high range transmission, and a diff lock. Obviously, this doesn't have it because this isn't a TRX4, but in theory, if you really wanted, you can get one of those remotes with the 2 additional channels, and you can probably put some more upgrades on this thing if you really wanted to. Some bling, I guess you can call it. Honestly, this standard remote is perfectly fine. The servo, like I said before, is Metal Gear. It is a bit on the slow side. I'm not going to bother showing you because it's the same speed as any other standard Traxxas servo, basically. They work, they get the job done. They're just not the fastest or the most powerful, but they work. So what more could you ask for? Let's move over here to these tires. As you can see, they are not your standard Rustler Talon tires, I believe they're called. They are a bit different. They are a bit more, I don't know if I'd say street-like, but they don't have the same tread per se. Here is the standard Rustler tire. Well, kind of blown out, but it'll do. As you can see, they're basically the same size. I mean, there's really no difference here. Same size, very different tread though, as I did mention before. Very different tread. Personally, these standard Rustler Talon tires, whatever, they're okay for tread wise, but they do blow up pretty easily in my experience. These blew up on 3S. It seems like these Talon tires, or whatever they're called, they do not like the 3S very much on Rustlers. They tend to balloon and explode very easily. So, actually, I got, oh, what's going on here? There we go. I got these third-party ones off of Amazon. They're a little bit bigger. As you can tell, they're even a little bigger than the Sledgehammer tires. They're a little bit wider. Height is probably around the same. It's kind of hard to tell because they're not even, but height is around the same. They're definitely wider than the Sledgehammer tires. So if you ever want good third-party tires for your Rustler, I'd recommend those. Oh, there's part of me. I don't know why this thing's all weird. I'm not filming this by hand. I'm using a gimbal. I'm trying to learn it a little bit. But, yeah, these tires, they do perform pretty well, in my opinion. Even on the soft gravel, loose gravel, they do get relatively good traction. Obviously, on asphalt, they work perfectly fine. Only time will tell if these will blow up like the other ones do on 3S. These have yet to be run on 3S, only 2S. And on 2S, they work perfectly fine. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say about this car. I've only had it for about a week, only driven it once or twice, so I will do a follow-up video probably a couple months after it's been used a lot more. And yeah, that has been my first impressions and kind of overview of the Rustler 4x4 Ultimate. I reckon that's a good thumbnail picture right there, huh? It's just, there we go. Good thumbnail picture right there. Anyways, if you stuck around this long, I do appreciate it. And if you'd be ever so kind to leave a like on the video, comment, subscribe, and even maybe share, you know, all that stuff, please feel free to. Until then, I guess I'll see you in the next video. I forgot to mention about the Rustler here. Is it worth the price that you pay? Is it worth the cost? In my opinion, well, it kind of depends if you're into the whole, you know, sensors, the GPS, the RPM, you know, motor temp, all that. If you're into that, sure, I would go for it. But for the amount of extra money you're paying just for these metal shocks and metal hub carriers, chassis brace, which honestly you're not going to see much of a difference with unless you're really bashing it. And what else was it? Oh, that's about it. If you only want those upgrades, you can probably do it yourself for a lot less money. So unless you're really into these cool tires, these cool body, and these metal upgrades here, I personally would just go and buy the parts yourself. and do it yourself and buy a regular Rustler like I have over here because it's cheaper. And yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, sure, you can do the sensors yourself too, but honestly, you're not going to be looking at those sensors every time you use the car per se. It's nice to have to look at, to glance at, especially the motor temp, take a look at it. But something you're going to be looking at, no, it's not going to be something you're looking at all the time. So do as you want with that info. I forgot to mention it. Now it's the end of the video.